Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. There's a lot lined up for your viewing pleasure tonight. Of course, we hope to have some interesting discussions around cycling in Nigeria. And of course, we will monitor what is currently going on now that's talking about the feast of football in the UEFA Champions League. So once again, thanks for joining us. Yemi Adebayo from Lagos.
To have you join us once again to talk sports in London. I'm Austin Okorapan. Yes, Yemi, you got it right. We'll be taking a look at cycling developments in Nigeria. Remember, we are, speaking to newly elected presidents of the different sporting federations in the country, just to find out their plans for the new regime and then what they intend to do as regards taking the sport to the next level. So cycling, one sport that again, Yemi, we've said it does not really need so much talk because people engage in this sport for leisure, and, back in the day growing up, if you could cycle, you'll be respected in your neighborhood. If you can jump on a bicycle and get it going. So we just want to know, the plans for the development of cycling in Nigeria. I know that the Nigerian female team, they're right there in Ube in France for the World Championships. By the way, it's the first time Nigeria will be, participating at the World Championship. So it's a good one for the development of the sport in the country. When the president joins us, we will talk about that one. Let's also let our viewers know that there are cracking games going on in the UEFA Champions League. Woo, that match between Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, can pass for a Champions League final.
Yeah, it can. It can. And just to add to what you said about cycling, to earn the respect of your peers, you have to be able to do that. If you don't, they look at you like, oh, it's a girl. I've had that thrown at me a couple of times, so I know how it feels. So cycling is very good, and hopefully we get past seeing it as leisure. It's something that, as a sport, can also generate money. So that sets a tone for the show tonight. Austin, let me quickly come to the Lagos studio and introduce our partner on the show tonight before we get into it with the guest from the Cycling Federation. Tolu Lokwa joins us on the show tonight. Tolu, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us tonight.
Of course, greetings to you too as well, because it is nice to be on the show, tonight. This is my first, of course, time, being on the show, of course, this
night show.
Of course, the night show, of course, I'm very much elated, having to see the cyclists from Nigeria, are going, to France, to participate for the very first time in the history of our sports in Nigeria. So, and I think, we must give kudos, to our Cycling Federation, for doing a very good job, and also the athletes, of course, going there to showcase, the talent in them, to let the whole world know that, oh wow, if you can do it, Nigerians as well, we can do it also. Sure, what's stop us from, from competing with the very best in the world? But it must not stop there. We have to take it from there, of course, and strive, to be the best as far as cycling is concerned.
Yeah, we have to take it from there and do our best to be the best. That's what Tolu is saying on the show, and I agree with him. It can be done. Let's just put our mind to it. All right, Austin, let's set the ball rolling on the show tonight while we wait to get into that conversation. Of course, a good place to start is something you've always talked about, something you're passionate about, and I can give that credit to you because you've always been somebody who likes to talk grassroots. And let's talk table tennis on the show, and let's talk about Aruna Quadri. What else can we say about him? A trailblazer, he's an herald, he's now trying to open the door for youngsters to showcase their talents and become good at their craft.
Very good. Yeah, I remember we spoke to him the other day on the show, and he told us that he was going to get on with this, and my respect for him, just increased because he said it and he's doing it. And what a way to do it. Go back to the grassroots, influence development at that level, discover talents, nurture them, and he's not stopping. He says he wants to take, table tennis academy to your state, and he has met with the governor, but loads of youngsters came out at these championships in Lagos, to see the champ himself, #1 ranked player in Africa, ranked 16th in the world. His story is enough motivation, and for these guys to hang around Aruna Quadri, that's actually the sort of step that they need you know, to get closer to realizing their dreams as table tennis players. Just a good one. Kudos to Aruna Quadri and his team. And I always do this when I see this sort of story, you know, charge ex-players to come out and do some more, you know. If we have Aruna Quadri do this, we have another player jump on it, and Olufunke Oshonaike is already doing something as this. But when we get more persons doing the campaign towards developing sports at the grassroots will be strengthened.
Yeah, that's it. And I also, without repeating everything you've said, I agree with all that you have said. I don't know if Quadri putting his money where his mouth is at the maiden edition of the Aruna Quadri Cadet Invitational Championship. And talents have already been discovered there. A lot of people have already mentioned one or two names that could go on to be the next Aruna Quadri. On the show tonight, let's quickly listen to Aruna Quadri speak about his pet projects, this tournament, what he hopes to do, what he hopes to achieve. While doing that, we're also going to listen to the NTTF Vice President, Olusodi Taiwo, both of them speaking on how happy and elated they are about this tournament.
First of all, we are launching our academy and sports club. And when I always look back, it is very important to give back to the society. Also very important to have a lot of talent in the national team, and also very important to have a lot of top 100 in the national team. You know, we have been producing one player every decade, so we want to produce at least 5 good players every 3 years, and not just decades. Like Segun Toriola, it takes another 1 decade to produce Segun. The first was Atonda Musa, and it took about a decade again to produce Segun Toriola, and after Segun Toriola was me. Presently, Omotayo is coming up. You know, I've been there for like 7 years. So I think it is very important for us to move a little bit forward. We shouldn't be moving backward. So it is very important to produce at least every 3 years like 5 top players in the world. It's about table tennis for all. You know, we want to give opportunity to all kind of table tennis players. Cadet, junior, senior, and our fathers and our mothers, because we realize sport is an important factor to improve their health. So it is very important for them also to be keeping active so that they don't get sick. You know, they will be strong, agile. And for cadets, we really want to discover more talent. We want to bring in more important tournaments to Nigeria. Like starting from January next year, we really want to introduce a table tennis league here in Nigeria, whereby we'll be playing every month for at least 6 months out of a year.
Congratulate Aruna Quadri for putting this up. This is a very fantastic achievement for him. But it makes sense because this is where he has come from himself. Quite a few people had helped him up in there, but that's Aruna Quadri for you. He always giving back, and what this is going to do to our table tennis is unbelievable. When you have one of the best players in the world coming round, working with the young kids, setting up the academy for young children, it can only inspire them. We've seen it happen with a few players coming up, Didi Omotayo, all trying to emulate Aruna Quadri. But this is now one-on-one with the youngest players. It's going to be great for Nigeria table tennis. Well, this is the only way to bridge that gap. As you know, when one person is doing well, you start looking for younger players to come through. And this is the only way to do it. Create an academy, good coaching, good equipment. And Aruna has put all that in place here, working with the club. You know, we're very grateful to the club for the opportunity they've given us. But believe me, right now, I think this is, especially for male table tennis in Nigeria, this is probably the greatest era of table tennis in Nigeria. Fantastic young players. The best young players I've seen over my 40-year career. Aruna is helping with that. A few other players are helping with that. So I think the future of Nigeria table tennis in terms of transition is assured.
Yeah, I'm highly elated, happy for 3 reasons. One, for the fact that we have a club looking after the younger people that might come out to be playing table tennis. For a club to allow Aruna Quadri to partner with them to have competitions for budding young players, male and female, is a thing of joy. Secondly, for a club to have an edifice like this, solely dedicated to table tennis, is another thing of joy. And thirdly, that we could have even people from other walks of life coming together to play table tennis in a friendly environment is another thing that makes me happy.
All right, that's it. You listen to quite a number of people there. So you listen to Olusoji Taiwo, the vice president. You also listen to somebody who needs little or no introduction, Ennington Waido Shodi, also commending Aruna Quadri on what he has done. All right, let me quickly get Tolu's thoughts before we leave table tennis and go to cycling. When you see Aruna Quadri put something like this together, and the fact that he's already talking about other things he intends to do, how happy are you that sportsmen like these are trying to help the next generation?
Wow, I mean, I am very much happy, for Aruna Quadri, I've been able to, set up this kind of thing in Nigeria. It's taking table tennis to another dimension, you understand? So, of course, if we've been having a things like this in the past, who knows, of course, we might have produced another Aruna Quadri, Funke Shona, Ike, Shegun Toriola, and
Sure.
of course, and a host of others. But I think, the initiative, of course, is a welcome idea. So, and I really enjoy, the people, started with the responsibility, of channeling the course of table tennis, to give me the maximum support. Of course, I encourage the young athletes, just like Wahid Ennington said, that he has seen, for the first time, of course, young and talented table tennis players, of course, who took out a mass, to partake, to showcase what they can do. It goes to tell you that, if we do the needful in the country, of course, and if the people, of course, who are supposed, to raise the bar as far as table tennis is concerned, of course, do the needful, put the right peg in the right hole, understand? So, and let those who know it and those who have the technical know-how, handle things. It means table tennis, of course, we surpass everybody's expectation. Remember, it is one of our strengths as far as sport is concerned. Yeah. But gone are the days when just like Aruna Quadri said, that Nigeria produced a single player in decades. But now you want to make sure that every 3 years we produce at least 5 world-class table tennis players. Of course, and a #1 ranked player in Africa. Of course, I'm happy for him, you understand? So I'm very, very much happy for Aruna Quadri. And I hope, of course, the academy, of course, will be handled by technocrats.
All right. That's the hope here as well. Austin, I can see you nodding your head. I'm very sure you're in agreement with what Tolu has said about Aruna Quadri, what he has done, what he hopes to do, and hopefully he'll get all the necessary support.
I totally agree, and I liked what Aruna Quadri said, that it takes 10 years to bring another Shegun Toriola. So you need to start early. And this is the stage to start. When I talk about the grassroots all the time, it's because I want people to see that at this level, it is very easy to plan development. At this level, you can structure. At this level, you can build interest. You can sustain passion. You can assess progress, And I like the fact that Ennington Waido should, corroborate with that point when he said, look, we have the talents. So if we have the talent, it's for everybody to come together now and see ways that we can harness this talent. So now it's not just Aruna Quadri. The Federation is involved. The ATTF is involved. They has now taken the campaign to Oyo State. And, maybe one child that comes to Aruna Quadri's competition and sees all of the progress will maybe take it back to Bauchi. And then the state government will be impressed. And then that's how development spread. So shout out to Aruna Quadri and this dream. And this is the mentality of a champ, You don't just want to win and then you go back home and sit down. You must think about a legacy. And that's what Aruna Quadri is doing. And I'm super proud of him and this achievement. I just hope that he continues to do more as regards the development of table tennis in Nigeria. Let's get on with the show now and continue our assessment of different sporting federations and, getting to know their plans, their objectives, their goals, their vision for the federation. Giandomenico Massari is the president of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria. He is also returning as president. Right now, he's in Ube in France. Why? Because Nigeria will be competing and making a debut appearance at the World Championships in cycling. So let's go to Ube in France, where the president of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria joins us live on the program. Good evening, and Giandomenico, and welcome to Sports Tonight.
Good evening to everybody. Good evening to everybody.
You're doing in France. Let's talk about your. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm hearing you.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's talk about your goals and objectives for returning as president of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria. We spoke to you sometime in July last year. I think July the 24th to be precise. COVID-19 stopped some of the plans. What are some of the things that you were planning to do in the last administration that you must continue doing this new term?
Okay, good evening to everybody. I'm not somebody that like to talk too much. I believe that to showcase facts than words. Anyway, notwithstanding, we are very clear where we are today. In fact, in spite of the challenge we have with the coronavirus, and in spite of even the development that we had in our federation with our athletes, both male and female, particularly with the female, but even male are racing, then we have witnessed a big improvement, not only for the continental arena, but even international one. If you have even look at the ranking, the international ranking of UCI, that is the international body of cycling, Nigeria has raised from a position, let's say 4 years ago, of more 70 in the world. Now we are among the 10th. And in some even category, we are even among the 4th, 5th, and in June, in the last June, we were even 2nd and 3rd in the junior category. So, and anyway, we are first in Africa. Notwithstanding, we are trying to participate to increase our training, increase our standards, and participate to as much as possible events. And eventually, today, for the first time ever, we are qualified for Africa for females for track cycling, and eventually we are the first in Africa. In fact, we are in the female category first with 4 riders for our athletes that we participate in the different category. Tomorrow they start even this event, and at the same time, we have totally for Africa 3 countries, that is Algeria, South Africa, and we. And for female category, we are alone, because even Egypt cannot be able even to participate. That it was the second country that qualified female, with only 1 rider, when we have been qualified with 4 riders. In consequence, that is very clear where we are today. Of course, we needed to consolidate and increase this level, and this required time and a lot of hard work, and even raising the standard and making sure even I was watching what they are saying about the table tennis, what we want to try to enforce as much as possible grassroots development, because as far as you are champion today, the champion will be not forever. In consequence, you need a new champion, the young one that has to be, trained, that has to be, carried to the next level of the sport. So for that reason, that is very important for us. But anyway, at the moment, as I said, for the first time ever, Nigeria is qualified for World Championship. And today we are witness. Tomorrow they start the event of 4 days, and even the event is even a testimony of the level we have reached today.
Sounds good. Sounds good. That's a comprehensive update, particularly touching on the grassroots and what we're doing at the World Championships. But just Just hold your thoughts. We'll come back to you to talk more about the World Championships. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television, and we're talking to the president of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria, Domenico Massari, is right there in Ube in France. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll get to go more into the plans for this new administration because he's returning as president. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Tonight on your award-winning sports-loving Channels Television. We're talking to the president of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria, Domenico Massari, is right there in Ube, France. Nigeria will be competing for the first time at the World Championships. Before we get into the World Championships, President, are there potentials for the development of cycling in Nigeria, particularly with taking it to the schools and getting young persons to be involved?
Of course, this is a very important point that we have to stress. And, you know, even we have already the first meeting of the new board. And one of the points we have looked at is increasing the pilot program and program in all possible schools, in all the 6 geopolitical zones, because it's not one zone has to be preferred. You know, we have to expand all these type of activity to all the 6 geopolitical zones. From all the type of schools, starting from the even nursery, because, you know, start doing a sort of training, a sort of advocacy for to introducing cycling to the boy and the girl, just in a very tender age. And then it continues with the primary and so on, in all the level of the school. This is very, very important. One, to promote and popularize this type of sport. And second, to scout for the new talent, to the new champion, because Nigeria is blessed to having a lot of potential, both for male and female. So it's even a way to raise the sport and finding the talent. And today we have witnessed, in spite even a lot of difficulty we had in the past, and we are presently, mostly the problem is financing, that today we have reached this level. And at the end, we are at the top of Africa in this particular category in track. We try even to develop the sport, opening even other specialty like BMX, mountain bike, because, you know, this type of ride, cycling riding, it requires a type of bike that is less expensive. So more people will be attracted, because one of the biggest challenges in a road bike, it has an high cost. So many people cannot afford. And eventually, even if you have the potentiality, cannot express and can even develop that potentiality. But maybe with the mountain bike and the BMX, because even the cost, the much less cost.
Okay.
Many people can join. Many people can join and eventually can create more and more, you know, population that will embrace this sport.
Okay, let me just quickly butt in, sorry to cut in there. I have just one question from me, and I'll let Austin take it back. Interest. That's what I want to ask, and I know Austin's questions is related to this as well. But interest, how do you gauge interest? Do you think Nigerian youths, teenagers are beginning to embrace cycling? Because the problem most of the time it's difficult to make a sport of what people see as leisure. So do you think people are beginning to catch on? Are they seeing it as sports, or to them it's just leisure?
No, it's leisure is one thing. If you want to talk, because, you know, activity, cycling as activity is very wide. You know, cycling is some things that anybody can practice. In fact, let me say that I want to stress even this point, is the sport that you can start from a very tender age to the very advanced one compared to other. And this is a show how this sport can be very, very popular. At the same time, in sport specifically, if we start having champion and the things we start going outside the border, as we are going not only of the country, Nigeria, but even of the continent, because now we are outside the continent, and it's not the first time we are participating in such event, but not at the level we have today. You know, then many people can be attracted, and eventually can attract even some interest from some sponsor that want to associate their own brand to this type of sport that is even is giving benefit to people, and even is giving apart of the health benefit, is giving a career to many youth, both male and female. And not only that, because even, you know, cycling even attract other professional figures like coaches, masseurs, mechanics, nutritionists, and so on, that it can give a lifetime work job to anybody, because when you are finished to be an athlete, you can be a master, you can be a coach, you can be a mechanic. So you have a continuation in your career that is not ending by the moment you are stopping riding. So you understand, we want to create this type of ecosystem that is creating opportunity, jobs for people, and hope, particularly youth. Because what we want to press, generally something that is open to youth, and that is even the very, very benefit we can have.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point, particularly when we get more young persons involved. Let's wrap up this conversation. What's going on right there in Ube, France, the World Championship? Is Nigeria competing to win medals, or we're just there to gain experience?
Okay, let me tell you very clearly. First and foremost, it's the first time we are going to such event. So imagine, we let's say that we are even racing with other countries that are even an history on it. You know, if you want to be frank, I want to be very frank, because it's not say that we do this. You know, I'm very realistic, and in anything I'm doing, I'm very realistic.
That's right.
For us, it's a gold medal, and I won't even exaggerate the fact that we are there today. We are even at the top in Africa at the moment, and there is no other African country in female at the moment that is there. First. Second, if you see the type of country we are competing tomorrow with us, and even in the next days, I'm talking Germany, I talk US, I'm talking, France, I talk Italy, I talk Denmark, countries that they have 100 years and more of history on this. When we start, because we know the story of our velodrome 3 years ago, and we are there today. I believe that even them, in their own history, they cannot claim a so sharp, in a so short term, racing like we have today ourselves, you know. And that time, even when they started, they have less competition around them. And we started, we have a much higher competition. So just that one is this. So in consequence, is some things that it will fuel our experience, especially to our cyclists, our athletes, that they are really, I want praise for all of them, and not only them, even all the athletes, both the female and the male, that they have in this year put in a lot of sacrifice, a lot of interest. You know, everybody in cycling is important. Everybody is contributing to the achievement we are achieving today. It's not one man show, is not one man success, is the team success. I always say team success, as in the sport. And as in consequence, we know that today we are there, and tomorrow we will do our things. Of course, we can't get...
That's what we want, to give the country your best representation. And to be the best, you must compete against the best. Thank you so much, President, Cycling Federation of Nigeria. All the best to the girls. And then we'll wait for when you guys are done and get back to the country. Thank you.
Thank you to you.
So that's it. President, Cycling Federation of Nigeria, talking about goals and objectives and ways that cycling can be developed in Nigeria. Tolulokpe, you listened to him. It's cycling. It's not a sport that is new to us. Yemi said something vital. How do we take it from just being leisure to something competitive? Did the president answer some of the questions you had in mind?
Of course, yes, I can say, of course, I'm very much, of course, happy, with the way he put it, saying that, cycling, of course, has been a sport, we've been involved, at the grassroots level, for quite some years in Nigeria, but unfortunately, we have not been able, to take it, beyond at the shore of this country. But now that we're having for the first time, a team of cyclists, are representing Nigeria and Europe, France, is a good one. I think, yeah, as Yemi said, do we really want to make cycling a sport out, from what people view as a leisure? I think for me, yeah, having someone like him, as the president, Cycling Federation of Nigeria, so and wanting to take to schools, of course, to discover talents and of course and harness the potentials in them, are refined, the talent and make them useful to themselves and Nigeria as a country at large. I think it is a good idea. What we need to do here, is to put our house in order, do what we need to do at the right time and make sure, we maintain our focus, we're determined to succeed, and at the end of the day, we will get it right.
Right, I'm very sure we'll do that, get it right, and of course, get good results. All right, before we talk about the ladies, we're going to switch to football now. Before we talk about the ladies, that's the next big thing for Nigeria. Let's give you a situation report from the UEFA Champions League at the Wanda Metropolitan Stadium. Of course, Antoine Griezmann has gone from hero to villain, scored 2 goals for Atletico, and it's just been red-carded. Game approaching the 75th minute. And of course, surprise, surprise, Ajax is giving Dortmund a hammering as we speak. Last time I checked, there were 4 goals up. Of course, nobody could have predicted all of that. I'm very sure we will give some of the results to you as well. Before I get to Olu's thoughts, I can see Austin's face changing when I mentioned Ajax and Dortmund. And even the bravest gambler would not have thought that Ajax would be handing it to Dortmund. And we're not surprised with Atletico and Liverpool. That's what we expected. But of course, the red card situation probably will change the game.
That was a beautiful game of football. Atletico Madrid and Liverpool. Mo Salah scored a beautiful goal. Naby Keita scored a cracker. Antoine Griezmann responded and then scored a brace, and now he's been given a red card. Football for you. But while I was smiling while you were giving the update, I saw Real Madrid giving Shakhtar Donetsk a spanking away from home. And the team they couldn't beat at the Bernabeu, FC Sheriff, is also losing away from home 3-1 to Inter Milan. So this confirmation of Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, and FC Porto 1, AC Milan 0. Loads of game going on in the UEFA Champions League. Already concluded. Sporting Lisbon defeated Besiktas by 4-1. And then the game between Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig, Yemi, 2-2. Right there at Parc des Princes. RB Leipzig holding their own and ensuring that they probably will just get 1 point from that game.
Football teaches you a lot of the time. Like you say, when you think you know football, surprises. Quick one, do a wrap for me if you can, in a minute or so, because we're still going to end with the UEFA Champions League. But any of those results come to you as a surprise?
Wow, what comes to me as a surprise, is the result of Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, but I wouldn't say I'm surprised because our football remains the world's best means of communication because it is impartial and apolitical, you understand. So it gets the imagination. So and at the end of and watching football, sometimes it makes you sad and sometimes make you happy depending on the outcome of the game and where you belong, you understand. So now, and if we're talking about a classic football, we enjoy, of course, on daily basis. That is kind of game every avid soccer fans love to see, you understand. So a mother of all cracker, you understand. So 2 top teams are tearing each other apart, you understand. 2 top teams are not wanting, of course, are to lie low for one another, you understand. So I say, if you can play ball, we can play ball. If you have our best players, we also have our best players as well, you understand. So if you score goal, we can also get to see the back of you. Right. But I think for me, it's a mother of all cracker. And Ajax, of course, as you said, handing it over to Dortmund. Wow. It's another massive football cracker.
All right. Just to let you know that while we were talking, PSG made it 3-2. So that's the update. But so let's quickly move on. Before we talk about the girls, let's talk about the League 2 matter. That's the National Youth Games just concluded today. We have pictures of the closing ceremony and, of course, the medal table. But what you see on your screen are pictures from the closing ceremony. The sports minister, sports minister for sports and youth development, Sunday Diary, was there. He graced the occasion, gave a speech fitting for the end of the National Youth Games. And so let's just quickly listen to the sports minister. Of course, we'll come back, take a look at the medal table. Of course, and we also take a look at the Super Falcons and do the rest that time can allow us to do. But first, let's listen to Sunday Diary, the Minister for Youth and Sports Development.
You will agree with me that it's been an awesome time of competition for our young ones, a time of bonding, making friends, networking, and of course, developing healthy rivalries. This Games has brought our best young talents in Nigeria together. This game is giving them the platform to do what they love to do most. Testimonies abound of many talents who were discovered in previous editions of the National Youth Games, who have become world-class acts and multiple Olympians for Nigeria. Let me commend our host state, the Kwara State government, the University of Ilorin, the MOC, the main organizing committee, have worked tirelessly behind the scene to make this edition of the Games a success. I also need to condemn and express my disappointment about a few of the problems around age cheating that continues to rear its head, and specifically even during these games. The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development wants to declare that going forward we will ensure that we adopt more scientific and digital means of identifying age cheats next time and mete out stiff penalties to the offending athletes and the state they represent. We will consider the NIMC registration as a requirement and others that will be rolled out later in our letters that will go to the states. There will be a need for all athletes to have the NIMC registration before they can participate henceforth. This database will be required, will be developed, and will work in conjunction with the organization in charge.
All right. There's a lot to unpack from what the minister said, but of course, time will not allow us. Also, we're about to go on a break. Your reaction to some of the things you heard the Honorable Minister, some of the things you heard him say. I can imagine, but let me allow you to say those things yourself.
But it's just straightforward. You mentioned age cheats, and that's a canker worm to sports development in Nigeria. And I want to just urge the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development, let it go beyond talks, because what is the essence of having the youth games if you don't have the right persons competing? It's a big problem. We also suffer it with the Channels International Kids Cup, but we dig down into it. If we find you cheating, we expel, we suspend, we disqualify. There must be measures. We must fight and tackle this thing. It shouldn't be just, we just talk. No, because if we keep letting HT to thrive, then we're not ready with sports development.
All right, that is it. We're not ready. All right, so look, quick one. Everything has concluded. Let's see if we can quickly take a look at the medal table and a quick reaction from that so we can Delta coming out on top of it all at the end of the day, winning. That's it on on the table. But your thoughts, basically, in probably 30 seconds, if you can.
Well, Delta has been the number one state in dictating,
when it comes to sports
in Nigeria, of course. And the sportsmen are saying, okay, what have we gained, from cheating and age falsification in sports? It has
nothing.
You didn't no positive for Nigeria, so except international disgrace. Of course, I think it is time, to do the right thing.
Yeah, it's time for us to sit up, and as you can see, Delta coming out tops, followed by Lagos and Edo in that order. That's the top three for the just concluded National Youth Games. We need to go on a break. As you can see, pictures from the closing ceremony of the National Youth Games. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll give you updates from the camp of the Super Falcons. We'll talk about the UEFA Champions League and plans for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. We'll do all of that when we return from this break. I like everything he said. Coach Randy Wonderum, there will be no excuse tolerated. He says nothing will be used as an excuse, but I like to add, no excuse will be tolerated. Austin, you listen to the coach of the Super Falcons. Is big. Anytime we play Ghana is huge. It's big, and we must win.
No, in a game of Ludo, if it's Nigeria, Ghana, it's big deal. Anything that has Ghana and Nigeria, you don't joke with it. And at the press conference today, made a representative, made it, clear to both the coach and the players that this is a game Nigerians are looking forward to. And I asked the coach, I said, with what he saw at the Aisha Buhari Cup, how much work does he have to do with this team? And he admitted that there's still so much work to be done. But you can't start doing those work now with just days to play Ghana, so he needs to find a way. He needs to find something, because whoever does not win this stage doesn't go to the African Women's Cup of Nations, and that means there's no chance for also qualifying for the World Cup. So it's unthinkable for the Super Falcons. They have dominated women's football. They need to go out there and in some way get some redemption for what happened at the Aisha Buhari Cup. But against Ghana, they need to be at their best to get the results.
Yeah, I agree. What should happen tomorrow?
Well, I am expecting nothing but a total victory, from the Super Falcons, because I've been thinking, how, we find ourselves, at this junction, because now playing Ghana has become, something big that every Nigerian, will be expressing a fear, because of what happened, against the Bayana, the girls, of South Africa. But I think for me, the coach, of course, must come up, with something good, for the players, and make the players, of course, they have the potentials, to rule African football, for the next 20 years, and of course, be among the top 5 nations in the world. But something definitely, is wrong somewhere, and that is where we must look into, to find a lasting solution to. But tomorrow, nothing short of victory I'm expecting from the Falcons.
All right, nothing short of victory is what Tolu Lokpe is expecting tomorrow, when, of course, the Super Falcons take on perennial rivals, the Black Queens of Ghana. And of course, after that game, 4 days later, we will be on our way to Ghana to play the reverse fixture. And we're hoping after both matches, Nigeria will be on the way to the Nations Cup, and of course, also be in line for a place at the FIFA Women's World Cup. All right, we'd love to end the show tonight talking about the UEFA Champions League. There's a lot we would have loved to do, but time not always our friend on the show. Let's see if we can wrap these up with the UEFA Champions League, the results. Austin will take us through some of it. Tolu will let us know some of what is going on. So, Austin, the floor is yours. Mo Salah got a goal, so it's 3-2 for Liverpool now.
What a story for Liverpool, Salah jumping on that penalty kick to convert it, and then also seal his brace. Fantastic night for the Egyptian player, Atletico Madrid and Antoine Griezmann. They will be wondering how they, lost all 3 points in this one. FC Porto 1, AC Milan 0. That's interesting game going on right there at the Parc des Princes. When this guy scores, he keeps scoring. Lionel Messi, with a brace tonight for PSG, and I'm sure that's good enough to give them a 3-2 win over RB Leipzig. In that game between Club Brugge and Manchester City, it was straight up for Pep Guardiola's team, and Riyad Mahrez with a brace also. Sporting Lisbon beat Besiktas 4-1, and you mentioned Ajax schooling Dortmund 4-0. 0. That's the UEFA Champions League for you. When you see some results, you start wondering, where did it come from? For instance, I spoke about this one, Real Madrid, that couldn't beat FC Sheriff in their last match at the Santiago Bernabeu, now travel to Shakhtar Donetsk, and they're singing the redemption song. So they're winning that one, and we go on to win by 4-0. Vital away result. And the team that they couldn't beat, Inter Milan, is showing them how to deal with FC Sheriff. That one 3-1, and definitely ending that way for Inter Milan.
All right, so that's it. Interesting football. But that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how we have to wrap things up. But I'll let Tolu Lokwe throw in some final words in a few seconds.
Well, it's been an emphatic effort, a victory in a football award. It's not in UEFA Champions League, but I think, yes, I must say, I am impressed with what I saw in the UEFA Champions League. It's a good one for football, a good one, for everybody, that is associated with football. Okay, good one for everybody associated with football. All right, that's the show tonight. We hope that you've been able to enjoy everything that we've done. But first, I want to thank Tolu Lokwe Tobatele for his time on the show today. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time. Of course.
All right. So that's it. We have to end it on this note. We hope you enjoyed everything as we did from this end. From Lagos, I'm Yemi Adebayo saying bye-bye.
Always a delight to talk sports with you guys. Let's do this again. In London, I'm Austin Okonapan, and everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.